Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Brandist. I am so excited that we're able to start this platform, which we've been thinking about doing as a business for a long time. I am Patricia Ethau, the CEO of WPP Scangroup. And as Scangroup, we recognize that, the time has to come when we have to be at the heart of conversations, at the heart of ideas, and at the heart of discussions, I guess, that are going to change who we are, that are going to move our communities, and that are going to change Africa. So today, I am happy to be here and talking with a fantastic group of people, souls, spirits, in our first episode, which we're calling Decoding Gen Zs. And the question we're going to be asking is it even possible? Join me as we start this wonderful show today, and I'll be introducing our three guests who are with us for our very first Brandist episode. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so joining me today, Decoding Gen Zs, are some really awesome and absolutely beautiful Gen Zs. And I'm going to have each one of them just say a little bit about themselves. Do you like being called Gen Zs? What is this Gen Z thing anyway, Maya? Come on,
Said so much now it feels like a slur. People say, oh yeah, those Gen Zs.
Yeah.
But my name is Maya Omolo. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, and anything else that, anyone wants me to do, I can do anything. But no, I'm a singer and a songwriter. I'm a Gen Z, I suppose.
You've been given the title.
I suppose, yeah. Really excited to be chatting with you today about figuring things out. I don't have anything figured out, but maybe through conversation we can discover ourselves.
And I was just saying, I love your hair.
Thank
my
you.
goodness. Yeah. All right, and Sean.
Yes, my name is Sean Dalmas. I'm a content creator, motivational speaker, and a Rotary president.
Yay! Well done, Sean. Nice to meet you again.
Nice to meet you too.
Part of the circuit, where we meet. Yes. And then, of course, we have
My name is Tamina.
Tamina. Yeah. I'm going to say Tamina.
I'm a lawyer and a content creator. I create content around self-love, self-care, and also a little bit of women's rights in the middle. And I'm happy to be here today.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
That thing about rights and everything else. One of the best things that's happened is that we've had a generation, at least when I look at Kenya last year, the whole rights conversation, the getting involved into the things that move who we are and being up there and speaking to it. Tell me a little bit about what you think about that and what's going to be the role in the future of you guys, the generation that's the largest part of our population. Just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I love it. So the thing is, we've been taught to keep quiet and be timid and not express ourselves too much. Especially, I feel like with our education system, it's like if you talk too much, it's like, oh, what's gonna happen? You're always scared to talk too loud or too much or to express yourself.
Yeah.
So what I love is there's been a cultural shift where it was like, we're tired of keeping quiet, we're tired of being timid, we're tired of keeping our voices in, and we're finally going to speak about it. Because the thing is, these are things happening in our society. Yeah. So how do we then keep quiet about it and it's happening? And it started happening to us as well.
Yes.
I feel like the shift is we started feeling the effects as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
We're being taxed.
Yes.
We're being taxed.
They're taxing the
And we're just
girls.
trying to live life, I'm just a girl. Why am I being taxed? So I feel like it started affecting us. And that's when we were like, no, we actually have to speak about this. So for me, I love speaking up about rights, especially women's rights, because I feel like the topics are taboo and it's like natural things we go through. So to me, why is it taboo when I'm going through it at the
And you
moment?
were involved in the campaign we did, Stain No
Yes,
Shame, right?
exactly.
Yeah, and these are conversations which before you wouldn't even speak about, right? Yeah. So,
Like it's taboo to speak about a period, but you go through a period every month.
yes.
So how is this taboo? Are we saying that what I'm going through is not normal and it's a natural process? So that's why I feel like the Gen Zs are just challenging all these ideas.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's just a cultural idea we have. And then once it's shifted, it's like, actually, why are we scared to talk about periods and stains? Because it's normal.
Yeah. And Sean, you as a guy, when you listen to some of these conversations, and the other big thing, as you know, that's happened a lot in the market, and I'm going to talk about all the general social stuff that's going on, is femicide, right? And I just want to understand what is going on there. Here we are, more educated, more aware, just out there, and yet all these things are beginning to happen, which you ask yourself, hold up, what's going on? Yeah.
I think I remember even I saw on her page when she said we began the year with a femicide protest and we are ending the year with a femicide. And it was very sad because we believed the protest that we did in the beginning of the year should have had an impact, should have sent a message to the male gender that these are women and women are people. They're the same. There's no difference just because the genders are different. They're still human. And I remember in this the December protest that we had, it was so sad because of the tear gassing. So the biggest question I had was, let's leave out the protest that we had for the finance bill. That was okay for the tear gassing, but these are women, these are young girls who are fighting for their own rights, who are basically just championing for themselves. So I feel like for me, men have grown up in this patriarchal society, as much as we don't term it as that, but that's what it is. It's a patriarchal society where men feel as if they're higher, they have higher standards than women, that they should be held at a certain regard that women shouldn't be.
Yes.
Yes.
So how do we debunk that? Maya, I mean, you have music, fantastic platform. How do we start to use great platforms like that to debunk some of these social issues?
Oh my goodness. I wish I knew. I mean, music is nice. I think the thing that's kind of made people feel like they have more of a voice is you can't really gatekeep social media. It's like I can open up my little Instagram, my little TikTok and, you know, put my message out there. And I don't have to go through so and so, like my uncle or whoever to get my message out there. But I think through music, you can kind of get across the point that most of these issues are linked. Like you always see like a spike in femicide when the economy is terrible, and the economy is not good, right? So just I feel like music, you can connect like many people, show that most of these things are like, you know, intersectionality. Like a lot of our issues are connected, and it's just like we have to come together to like deal with those issues.
And so for us generation, in fact, I was asking before we're having this conversation, we went from X, Y, Z. And okay, so let me speak about my generation, which was X or maybe before, who knows? And ask the question that, you know, you guys now have a way to speak, and that voice is all these social media platforms, which perhaps we didn't have. And because I am in an organization that is trying to drive communication, that's trying to drive engagement with, you know, the biggest part of the population. In Africa, actually, we know that 60%, I think, of the populations are under 35, which is youth. Then we're faced with all these platforms. So maybe each of you, because you're all influencers in your own right, can just tell me a little bit about how do we engage? How do we engage this population? 60%, a lot more. You're bigger on Instagram. You're Instagram. You do a bit of TikTok, and you know. Tell me a little bit about the difference. I'm petrified of X.
As you should be.
Same. Petrified of X. I won't lie. X people, you know, we're told we're Facebooks, but the truth is Facebook is still the biggest platform in many ways.
Is it?
So, believe it or don't. So tell me a little bit about each of them and what are your views on each? Who wants to go?
You want to start? You've been TikToking a lot.
You know TikTok.
So how we engage our followers?
Yes.
Okay, so over the past few months, I took a step back to actually analyze TikTok specifically. And that's why she's mentioning me, because I've been trending over the past few days. And I sat down and analyzed the algorithm, trying to analyze the Kenyan audience to be specific because that's where I was targeting my audience and my content. And one thing I realized is how the audience thinks, how the Kenyan audience thinks and how they take information, how they take content, how they take what you post in several aspects. So if you're a lifestyle content creator, which is what I am, they take your lifestyle in some certain scope of a standard, how they view you on social media. So there's that feeling where the standard they cannot live up to or the standard that they wish they could have. So that brings about some sort of certain engagement to an audience. Or if at some point when I'm talking about my motivational videos, it has to be something that is touching them and giving information on something that maybe they are lacking or something that they need. So for TikTok, I've felt from my understanding, it's all about they need to see something that they're gaining from it.
And it's a lot more raw, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, because, what were you guys telling me about Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram is a little more
curated.
Yeah, it has to be aesthetic.
Yeah.
You have
True.
to put it in some certain way that it appeals to
Yeah.
the eye.
Yeah, you can't be talking in a dark room. Well, switch on the light.
Yeah.
No way.
Okay. So true. So
Yeah.
true. Yeah, I feel like, I'm TikTok is very scary. I need those from you guys. I'm better at Instagram, but I find that I try to do the thing where I study the algorithm and like put out content and like high-res content, but it's just like I found that because when I came back to Nairobi after college, I was outside, I was in the streets, I was like partying and doing all these things. So I found that when I tried to make the shift, when I started to do more branding work around my career and try to make it more curated, like nobody really believed it. So I find that Instagram, like my best performing post, aside from like the music stuff, is just like a little dump of me and my breakfast and my cats and this and that and the other. I feel like where there's like a disconnect is when people start their careers, whether as like influencers or like singers, it's they kind of lose the bit of themselves that people were engaging with from jump.
Yeah.
So it's like if I followed you because of your personality, I don't want to like okay, you can be on a yacht, whatever, but it's like I want to still see the thing that I signed up for, that I engaged with from jump. So it's like polished, but also maintaining aspects of your personality and your real life that people, want some access to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so if I am trying to package a product or a service, that'll be a little bit more businessy side, and I'm very clear that I want to speak to somebody under 30 years old. Do I have to use somebody who's under 30?
I feel like you should. The reason why I'm saying that, it would be nice hearing it from someone my age.
Aspiration?
Yes.
No?
Because, for example, if you tell me to buy a product and it's Termina promoting it, I will buy it. But if it's someone who is in their 40s, trust me, I will not buy it. It's all about perspective. Really? It's all about if someone my age is buying it, then it should work for me. It's something that I should have. You get? And again, this whole generational thing, I feel like we're, as Gen Zs, because we've already been given that term as a slur, anything that Gen Xs and baby boomers are doing, honey, I'm not doing it.
You can have that.
No.
Oh my goodness. Okay, and here we are thinking, okay, we have this. Let's show you aspiration. This is where you could get to.
It needs a balance. Like it needs to be relatable, but still aspirational. And I'm glad you mentioned personality, because you could be aspirational, but then there are parts of your personality we relate to still. So even if we don't relate to your, we don't relate to your lifestyle, maybe you're really rich, you're just doing things. But your personality, you find things funny, we find funny, you're talking about things we talk about. So whether you're rich or not, I'm going to relate to your personality, even though I don't relate to your lifestyle. So I think it needs a balance of relatability and aspiration.
That's why Rihanna can sell me anything.
That's what I'm saying.
She's a Gen Z.
She's
not a Gen Z.
Yeah, but she's relatable.
But she's relatable.
She's relatable to our generation.
Okay,
most times the older generation is a bit out of touch in terms of relating to what we relate to. But if you're still, I believe if you're older, but you're relating to what we're relating to, you can tell us anything.
Okay, I'm hoping I'm going to get there.
Okay.
Practicing today. Yeah, so, all right. So we talked about engagement, versus speaking to, versus talking to, versus if I was, you've got, parents, right?
Yes.
Aunties, uncles. In fact, uncles these days is a dirty word. Aunties is a dirty word. And when your generation, when we decode, oh, that's auntie, or that's uncle, I know, my goodness, don't think it's a compliment. Hell no, it's not. So what is the difference between talking to, talking at, talking with, when I'm speaking to this generation?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
So how do I talk to you? How do I talk at you? Or how am I talking with you? So what's the difference? For example, this conversation now, am I talking at you? Am I talking with you? Am I talking to you?
With us.
With.
With?
Yes.
What has made it with?
Because you're asking first a lot of questions
Yeah.
of our POV. Because I
Yes.
know Gen Zs, we love a good POV moment.
Oh,
of
yeah.
our POV,
Yeah.
So I feel like brands, the language they use most times is talking at the
Yes.
audience.
Yes.
So even when they give you the brief, it's very much from their POV,
Yes.
what we want to sell you, but they're not looking at the point of view of the audience or the
audience.
customers.
Okay.
So I feel like talking at is talking only from your POV and only
Right.
taking your POV as the gospel.
Yeah.
Talking to is considering the customer's POV. Then talking with is everyone's POV. So the brand's
Right.
POV,
Yeah.
customer's POV.
Give me the language of a brief that would be talking with.
With
You've done some influencing work.
yeah.
Which brief have you felt? What was a language that was used that made you feel this one was talking with, and that made you feel I could do it better?
Yeah, so for example, there was a brand brief that they had combined. They had watched lots of my videos, and so they had combined aspects of my videos that they wanted me to do without a doubt. Because I giggle a lot in my videos. They were like, please put all the giggles in the video
Yeah, okay.
because your audience loves that.
Yes.
And at the same time, they were like, you could sell the product, but just put it into your lifestyle.
Yes.
So they were trying to find a way to match. We still want to sell because
Yeah.
we're trying to make money,
Yeah.
right? But then we know that if you go to your audience and we're like, buy this lotion,
Yes.
it's like, how do you integrate the lotion into your life? So make it a bit of the brand, a bit of Tamina, and then to the audience. So when they're talking to,
Yeah.
the brand brief is just about the brand.
Yes.
This is who we are. That's what we do.
Yeah.
This is what it should mention. These are our pillars. Go.
Yeah.
Yes, true.
Very true.
Yeah. You felt that as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a brand who we went for. I think it was my first time.
Yeah.
And I think I was just grappling my roots around it.
Yeah.
But they were telling me on how what they expected my content to be, and they didn't actually try to understand what my audience actually came for first. As much as, yes, I grew my social media platform out of skincare, and that's what people wanted to see. But the
You did
moment
skincare?
Yes, I do skin.
Whoa, I
am a
Yes.
skincare creator.
Yes.
Yes. And they were like, we want you to, so my audience, someone commented, are you telling us to go buy the product? Or are you telling us that you've started using the product?
Yes.
Yeah, so the audience could feel the shift
Yeah.
in what I was doing.
Yes.
And then that's when I took a step back and was like, hold up, I
Yes.
think we're going to have to reevaluate this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think even from jump, like the kind of brand that reaches out to you, it's like I got approached by a brand. I won't name them, but I'm just like, guys, no one's gonna believe I drink this. No one is going to believe
Why
it.
is
That's
that?
true.
Why does, what was
I
it?
feel like sometimes like what like many brands look at first is just like your engagement and like you have the
Numbers.
followers.
Yes,
Let's
yeah.
just give you anything, but it's just like. Do I look like I drink
aligning.
whiskey? Do I look like a whiskey drinker? No, no one's gonna believe that.
Yeah.
So I think when you're talking with someone, you have to have like an understanding of them. Like there has to be some research that was done. Or you just pick up like Gen Z 101, you read the first page and then you reach out. It's like it has to be like some form of an understanding that makes
Yeah.
you think like, okay, it's a conversation. It's not just being, things thrown at you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we said that we're talking decoding Gen Z. Is it even possible? That's what I mean,
It's tough.
so let me take it back. Is it possible?
No, the question I'd bring back to
Yeah,
you
tell me,
is,
change it, yeah.
the question I'd bring back to you is, what are you trying to decode?
Yes.
Like, what is the benefit of the decoding? What are you trying to get from us? What are you trying to understand? Because you will try to understand Gen Zs for the next 10 years and you still
And
don't
it's not
understand. So
happening.
tell us what you actually want to.
Or actually,
yeah.
do you even want to? Okay, yeah, I hear you, because I think when we say understanding them is because, let me give you some of the things that our generation, we believed you're going to work in a job, you appear in the morning,
Yes.
you leave in the evening, and you're going to work there, and you're going to have a pension, and then you're going to finish and have a pension. Now, Gen Zs are like, thank you.
No.
It's the economy that
No.
forced us into the gig economy, I feel like.
You think it forced you? If it wasn't, but the economy
No.
is, there's,
No,
you
for
know,
me it was-
Gen Z
For
is a
example,
global
like,
thing.
For you, it was
My
the economy?
degree.
Global, yeah.
What am I doing with my degree? Nothing. So I'm like, let me find something else to do.
For me, it wasn't the economy. For me, it was, I cannot do a 9 to 5. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I got when so during COVID,
Yes.
when my mom started working from home, I was her personal assistant. So she works in the NGO space.
Yes.
And I would schedule her meetings, do this, yada, yada, yada. And I would look at her wake up at 6 to get ready to, I don't know, get into a meeting by 9 and then leave her desk by 5. And I asked her, this is what you do every day? And she was like, yes. And I'm like, honey, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And being happy, yes, she was paying me, but I felt as if this is so monotonous, number one, because if you tell me to sit at a desk and I'm expecting money at the end of the month, while I can move from my house to Nairobi and come back home and I'll come back with money, I'd rather do that than wait for the money at the end of the month.
Security? Never think about security?
Life is too
There's
short.
Thank you. Life is too short.
Because same, I feel you. Because I had a 9 to 5, and one day I was looking outside the window. I said, I can't read. Like I had to wait till 5. I didn't believe it. I was just looking at the window like, wow, this is.
And you don't have anything you're doing.
I'm not doing it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then you're just seeing, like, for me, I'm just seeing the Tylers and the Iras and the everyone doing what I want to do. And I'm just like, I'm really going to sit here, open Microsoft Teams. Oh, no.
So I feel like that perspective that you have of security is what your generation was brought up with. Is what especially the Gen Xers and millennials were brought up with. In the sense that you have to go to school, get a job, earn money, pay rent, no.
But you've got to pay rent as well.
Yes, but I don't have to have a 9 to 5 to do that.
But what happens when those gigs don't come through? How do you feel? You go to sleep at night and you think, oh my goodness?
No, the sleep doesn't come.
You're living invoice to invoice.
Yes, that's so true.
And that is okay? You're calm with that?
No, I think we have the privilege of leaning on, for example, like our parents who built this.
And what about the people who don't have parents who...
Yeah, now for that, I feel like it's more stressful. I feel like that's why people do two things. Like they do a 9 to 5 and they do content and wait for content to take off and then now lean into that. I feel like if you have security, definitely lean into the content full time. If you don't have security, you have to balance both because living invoice to invoice will have you on the streets.
Yes, very true.
Okay. All right.
And it's also a matter of balancing how much you earn. Because, I mean, we all know that once you sign the contract, it takes 60 to 90 days for your money to come. It's annoying, yes. But, I mean, do the math. Like, come on. Just do the math.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We've had the conversation. I want each one of you now to tell me, and this is where I want to really listen to you speak from your heart.
Okay.
Tell me, listen, anybody who wants to engage us, anybody who wants to work with us, anybody who wants to communicate with us, and then I'm going to use a tough word, use us to shift narratives.
Okay.
What do they need to do? Each one of you. How would they speak? What is their language to Tamina, their language to Sean, and their language to Maya? So each one of you is your closing.
Okay. I think, first of all, people need to hire more people. Like, if you're trying to reach someone who's, 18 to 24, 25, it's like, you can hire some 18 to 24 and 25-year-olds. It's just like, that's just like an easy way to get the language down.
Yeah.
And then I think just like, do the research. I know at the end of the day, it's about selling the product, but it's like, it doesn't take long to like do the research, ask the right questions. That's what makes like a world of difference. It's just like understanding, a level of understanding. Everyone wants to be seen, wants to be understood. Yeah, that's like the main thing. But also, hire Gen Z to engage with Gen Z, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you want me to go next? Okay, for me, I feel like it's first understanding that there's a cultural shift. I feel like we don't like change. Like just as people, as a country, we don't like change, but things are now changing. So to adapt to that change, but not in a way that you're trying to think, oh, how can I adapt to that change? You need to ask the people, what's changing, what do we need to do different? So I feel like a lot more of reaching out to the demographic you're trying to reach. You can even hold focus groups. There's so much you can do because I feel like the change is immense. Like most times when you're talking to your parents, they're like, what are you even saying? They don't even understand what you're saying. So it's like there's so much from the language to how people are thinking to what people would buy to what people need. So I feel like if you're going to target a certain audience, you really need to understand the audience.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, I would say is to really reach out to that audience. So you can't reach to them and then exclude them from the conversation. Okay. So it's to include them in the conversation as well. And in that way, there'll be such an easy understanding. Because I don't think it's hard. I feel like once you understand it, you can even predict trends that are going to happen. You can predict what they're going to need next. But the lack of understanding is the lack of communication. It's like, that's what I would say.
Okay. Sean?
So for me, I'm going to split it into two. One, business-wise and information-wise, like if you're trying to spread a message.
Yeah.
So if you're talking business-wise, I feel like, and I'm glad you understand the fact that the larger population is the Gen Zs, and what a brand would be selling is to the larger population, right? So I feel like that brings in the aspect of understanding, like Temina has said, the audience, but I also want to bring in the aspect of the person who you're bringing on board. Don't try and change that person to sell your narrative how you want them to sell that narrative of that particular product, whatsoever it is. Don't try to change their personality or try and make them fit into the cocoon that you are trying to fit them into, because that's what will bring about the aspect of the audience not resonating anymore. When we bring about spreading information, when you talk about, let's say, Temina's fight for rights for women or NGO language or any message that you're trying to spread around, this brings about the concept of relatability. You need to, I feel like Gen Zs are very good at telling a story. I'll give an example where yesterday a young boy posted a video of him reaching out to get medical care. The video hit 1 million views in 2 hours, and it was the Gen Zs reposting it. I believe you know the video I'm talking about. Yes. And the aspect that I understood from that is because he told a story, a relatable story. I don't have the sickness, but I was able to fit myself into their shoe. So when it comes about spreading information about women's rights and whatsoever, you need to, get into their shoes. It's more about empathy and not sympathy. Yes.
Okay. Closing word. What's the biggest trend that you see coming up? When you look into the future, from your eyes, what do you see as the biggest trend?
Can you even like predict that? Oh my gosh.
I know.
Okay, let's talk. What do you think is the product, service of the future? And it could be a group as well. Last
I
word,
just say
think.
community. I feel like there's a
Community?
shift to community.
Community.
So it's like social media and everything. What it's showing is that there's a strength in creating community.
Okay.
So it's not much about like, oh, look at me and like my 2 million views on this video. I feel like it's going to shift more towards having a community. That if you tell them maybe we're having an event here, they'll actually come and see you.
Yes.
Or you can even host like book clubs, like a little wine club. I don't know, but community is like social media shifting from digital to even being physical. But I think the biggest trend is going to be community. Like as much as you're trending.
Community. What do you think, Maya?
I have no idea, honestly. One thing that I am seeing though, like a big shift is like, I think that more people need to like start small and grow. Like what you said about storytelling is really important. I think that most of like the people that I follow, like, you know, on the apps, it's like since day one. I feel like there's like a big part, like you're saying, people want to be part of like the beginning of a community, the beginning of the story. So it's like celebrity culture, I don't know how long that's gonna go on for. I think that's kind of like fizzling out, and then just like the real now, like starting from day one with someone and growing with them. Yeah.
Okay.
For me, I'll talk about something that I've seen is happening in the West, and I'm hoping it comes to the African media space, is when Hailey Bieber launched her Rhodes line, her phone cover Rhodes line, was the stores were being packed every day, but the people were complaining about the long lines and all those things. What did she do? She decided to give out free coffee with her logo and free goodie bags with her logo to anyone who's on the line to buy the product. It wasn't the free goodie bags. It was, she was giving people a lifestyle. So when it comes to brands, I feel like that is where brands are going into, where that product is not just being used, but that product is your lifestyle. That's what is you. Because I'll take, for example, the biggest brand that I work with, which is CeraVe. CeraVe has become me. I've become the brand to a point that everyone is identifying me with it. Yes. So I feel like that's the trend that's going to come up.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I love that. Community, grow with a brand, lifestyle. These are the things that we need to look at as we continue to communicate and connect. Thank you so much to each one of you for joining us today and being the first of the Brandist Podcast. Thank you.